Hi guys, so this is my second video that I'm now doing. I enjoyed doing my first video, which was of my Arrow movie collection, and this second video is again my movie collection, but rather than focusing on one of the release companies, I thought I'd look at one of the subgenres of horror, and I've decided to pick vampires. It's one that maybe doesn't get talked about quite as much as some of its other counterparts, but I have a few in my collection, so I just thought quite a nice one to talk about. Now the setup's a little bit different this time. I was using my iPhone before, but now I've gone to the MacBook Pro. This hopefully is a bit better. It's still for a start, and hopefully the sound quality is a little bit better. I know it was a little bit quiet last time, but I think that was maybe my first time talking. I was a little nervous to start with, and then it started to flow afterwards. But anyway, I'm going to jump into it. So first we have Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now this for me is a 10 out of 10 film, which out of about 2,700 ratings, something along those lines, I have about 18 or 19 10 out of 10s. Yeah, I'm quite tight with my ratings, but it has to be pretty bang on perfect film, which this is for me. Francis Ford Coppola did a superb job with this, and we have Gary Oldman here, who was phenomenal with this. Everyone in this film, the casting was really well done. Even the casting of Keanu Reeves, even if his accent let him down quite a lot, I think everyone else in this film just fit perfectly. And the special effects, the cinematography, I love how it covered the last century of cinema. It was, yeah, homage to some of these great horror films we've had in the past, and yeah, Francis Ford did a superb job with this. He stuck very closely to the source material, and like I said, the acting in this film is really good. Oh, it's such a good film. Yeah, if you've not seen it, just watch it. It's a brilliant film. The next one in my list, the list is not in any order, by the way. It's just how I picked them up. But we have a still sealed version of From Dusk Till Dawn, the Robert Rodriguez film with lots of help from Quentin Tarantino. This is like two films into one. The first half is super Tarantino-esque. Yeah, a nice build up with all the characters, and then you get halfway through the film, we get across the border of Mexico into the Titty Twister, and it turns out into a batshit crazy vampire film. Really good fun, this film though. Yeah, it was nice to see Quentin Tarantino in front of the camera. I thought he held his own really well, and the rest of the cast was very good. But yeah, I enjoy this one. Good film. I imagine most people have seen this as well. This isn't a particularly unknown film, but great. Next we have Fright Night. This is a really nice addition. Yeah, I picked this up earlier this year from Eureka Entertainment, I think it is. And yeah, they've done a really nice job of this. The transfer and the sound are very good. The film itself, yeah, we have Chris Sarandon as the vampire, and then you have the character Peter Vincent, which is Roddy McDowall. So good in this. The only thing which is not good about him in this is his really crappy grey hair. He's spraying grey. I mean, I have no idea why the hair looks so bad, because the special effects, the practical effects in this film are really very well done for the time. I think this was 1985, 86 in the UK that this came out, and the hair looks terrible, but let's not focus on the hair. This is it's a great film. It's horror comedy. I think when I first saw this, I didn't really pick up that it was a comedy. I know Moods from the 22 Shots page on Facebook and podcast that he had the same thing that I did from quite a young age. You're watching it, and we didn't realise that it was a horror comedy. And again, I had that same experience with The American Werewolf in London. That the comedy just flew over my head, and I did not get it until I was older. But I'd recommend this film. Yeah, there's some good performances in this. Yeah, it's a great 80s film. And here we go on to another 80s film that, although that's looked upon with some great fondness by a lot of people, this one is not, and it's a shame. Tobe Hooper's Life Force, the space vampire film. Yeah, I mean, it's a little long. I think I mentioned in my last video that it's a little long, but it's a really enjoyable film. It keeps you going all the way through, and it's pretty dark. But yeah, I think it's written by Dan O'Bannon, I believe. Sorry, I've not done any prep for this video. I just thought I'd take these off the shelf and just talk about them. So very amateur hour, I'm afraid, but I just thought you'd get a better vibe like that rather than just doing something scripted. But I think it's Dan O'Bannon that wrote this. Obviously the guy wrote Alien, favourite film, Alien. Not Life Force. Life Force is good, but not my favourite. But anyway, space vampires. So yeah, if you're interested by that, if you're a bit of sci-fi and horror fan, which I am definitely, then you'll like it. Oh, hopefully you'll like it. We'll see. Those are all the Blu-rays I've got, and the rest are on DVD. And we go to my Snapper edition, special edition. Oh, my finger can't aim here. Special edition. What's special about this? I have no idea. It has an interactive menu. Oh, and it has one documentary, In the Shadow of the Vampire, and an audio commentary, which I've actually never listened to, with Neil Jordan. Yeah, I mean, I love this. This is such a good, interesting vampire film with kind of... It's not the cast that you'd expect to be good, but it works really well. It's it's really interesting story. I like how it spans the well, it doesn't span the decades, where it was set in the 1800s, colonial America, and then they jump around a bit in the film, but I think they come over to France at some point. Sorry, it's been quite a while since I've seen this, but it's a really good film. Even when this first came out, I think I was 14 when I saw this, and I really enjoyed it at 14. It's not the normal actiony kind of type of film a 14-year-old would like, but I enjoyed this a lot. It has this young, what's her name? I have to look for it now, sorry. Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, young Kirsten Dunst in this. But Tom Cruise, very good job. Brad Pitt, he's kind of a bit broody, a bit Brad Pitt-like, but it's good. Antonio Banderas, Stephen Wright. He's not in it enough, but good film. Yeah, I recommend that. Neil Jordan, Company of Wolves, another good film there that he's done. Next we go to The Night Flyer. Now, this film never gets talked about, and it's really dark as hell. It's got Miguel Ferrer in it, who's fantastic. You gotta love that guy. He's such an arsehole in all of his films. But kind of, I don't know if that's him, because he's an arsehole in all of his films. Was he a bit of an arsehole? I don't know, but it is good. It's dark as hell film. A vampire flying in a plane. Yeah, so he doesn't turn into a bat. No, he's got his black plane that he flies in. This is a Mark Pavia. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. And it's he really hasn't done a lot. It's a shame because this is a really good Stephen King adaptation, and I recommend it. And it needs to get a decent release. This DVD really does not give it justice. Next, we have the Abel Ferrara film that I have not seen yet because I've only just recently picked it up. And this was on the recommendation from an old video by Moods that he has on his YouTube channel. Christopher Walken. So it's got to be good, right? Christopher Walken. But I will try and get onto this at some point. So the director of Driller Killer, Abel Ferrara, The Addiction. Next, I hadn't seen or heard of this film for a while. It's one I did like when I first watched it, but then I heard Jerry from Kill the Cast talk about it, and it's Shadow of the Vampire. Yeah, you have Willem Dafoe as the vampire Max Schreck, who's an actor, and they're making a film. And yeah, sorry, I'm having to have a quick look at the back. I can't really remember it. It's yeah, they're making a film, and they got this actor Max Schreck, who's the character, to play a vampire, but they don't realise that he really is a vampire. It's yeah, it's a really good film, and again, it's one that I never hear spoken about. It's a shame. It needs more love, and I don't believe this has a Blu-ray, so this needs a good release too. We go on to Daybreakers. Sorry, can't really see that too well. Yeah, this isn't one that I was really into. Interesting way to cure the vampire. I suppose it's not been, well, I've not seen it or heard about it done like that before. I don't really want to give anything away if you've not seen it, but yeah, it's set in the future, the near future, and basically blood is running out. There's a real shortage, and I think it's like there's a month left for all the blood stocks completely wiped out. Which is a bad thing because basically the planet is now pretty much inhabited by vampires. There's hardly any humans left. Well, it was a bit of a hit and miss. It was a bit of a miss for me, this film. A bit too actiony, and yeah, not really my sort of thing. Now, this was a much, much, much better vampire film, The Lost Boys. I think Zach on the 22 Shots page, maybe him. Apologies if it wasn't you, but was he calling this something like an overrated teenage girl vampire film? Something like that. I think he's trying to link it to, I don't know, 80s version of the Twilight films. Dude, no. I mean, I've grown up with this film. Okay, nostalgia weighs heavy in on this one. But, this is a brilliant film. I mean, the age of when it's in the 80s this came out. I remember really getting into this during the 90s. And I was probably about 14, 15, 16. This was one of my favourite films. Yeah, it's like cool vampires on motorbikes. It's awesome. Again, there's some interesting casting with this one. Jason Patric is the main good vampire. And then you have Corey Feldman in it. And Corey Haim, I think. He's in it as well. Yeah, it's a bit of a teenage film. I mean, it's Joel Schumacher. It's kind of, you're not going to get anything too heavy with him, but it's a really good entertaining film. I recommend it. And we have I Am Legend. This is, I think it's a remake of the Omega Man, which I think is a remake of the Vincent Price film, The Last Man on Earth or something like that. I must admit I've not seen that one. I've seen the Omega Man, and I do enjoy that one. Yes. Charlton Heston. This This was a good film, but I have no idea why they used CGI vampires. So they all look the same, and they just, yeah, there's no character to them, and it's a real shame. And I don't really understand why. I mean, there was no need for them to be CGI. So I don't know. Stacy the dog, she's cool. Always love a good dog in a good film. Strange, but the ending was very rushed with this one. It's not that it was bad. It's just, I don't know. It's good build up to this film, and then it just kind of picked up more and more and more and more pace, and then sprinted to the finish. I mean, it's not that long. It's 96 minutes. I mean, you could have made that longer. Stick an extra 15 minutes on it and flesh that ending out. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It looks great. It does look great. Yeah, the setting looks great. The CGI vampires do not look great. I don't understand why they had those. And then we have the remake of Fright Night. Get some hate. It's not bad. I mean, you have David Tennant in this film. I mean, he was cast as Peter Vincent. I can see why they went for him, but as a personal choice for me, it was not a good choice. He's very much a TV actor, and yeah, it just didn't quite fit the role for me. Colin Farrell, again, interesting choice. I mean, it's very difficult because it's a remake, so it's like you will compare it, and the casting was so much better in the first one, in the original 1980s one. But I like the area. I like where it is. It's set in Vegas. Yeah, I thought they could have played up on that a little bit more, shown a little bit more of Vegas, but I like the suburban area, and that setting was good. So it's an interesting film. It's worth watching. It's entertaining. Just not as good as the original. Right, here we have Stakeland. This is one that I only heard about very briefly, and I saw it when it pretty much first came out, and was quite entertained by it. Yeah, it's a nice dystopian kind of future with vampires. Good story. The vampires are good, and yeah, it's a good film. I think it's Nick D'Amici or D'Amici. Sorry, I can't remember his name. Yeah, he was good. I kind of like his. Can't remember his character's name. If he has a name, or like the guy or something like that. Sorry, it's been quite a while since I've seen this one, so I won't talk about it too much now. But I did really enjoy it. Can't fully remember it, but it was an enjoyable film. The second one, only got about halfway through. Really wasn't enjoying the second one, but I will revisit that one soon. And here we go into a superb film. It's Swedish, I think. So where I live at the moment, Finland, my neighbours, let the right one in. Now Sweden is really not known for its horror films, but this was stunning. Stunning film. This got remade to Let Me In, I think it was called. Something Cody Schmidt, I think the boy, and can't remember the girl's name actually. Chloe Grace Moretz, I believe. It's one of those. It was remade. It's a good remake, but why was it remade? I think if you're going to remake something, just do something else with it. Just try and do something. Don't do a word for word remake. Scenes for scene remake, or just use the same story. It's do something different. But back to this one, I love horror in snow. Yeah, it looks so good. Whenever you get like the blood on snow, it looks fantastic. And this has some truly great scenes. the end scene in the swimming pool, that really, really, really sticks with you. There's the fire scene in the hospital. That's very, very good again. I think there was one in the police station. And the child actors, their chemistry is very good. Yeah, it's yeah. Sorry. Again, this is one that I've not seen for a while. You can see I'm really not planning for this video. I just decided to pick them up and speak about them, and it's not always so good. But recommend this film. Very, 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 very good film. How many times can I say very? Too many times, because I remember on my first video I kept saying it too much. So we go to my other neighbours now. Russia with Night Watch. This was a weird, crazy film which was jumping all over the place and had some quite fun cinematography in it. Looks good. Crazy story. Pretty good acting. Just looking on this now, this has a Russian version and an English version. I've not seen the English version. I went straight to the Russian version with subtitles. Don't ever watch things dubbed. It's crap. You're never going to quite pick up the film as you should do if you watch it with dubbing over the top. So if you can, always go for subtitles. It's like people can't read. It's like, come on, what's wrong with you? Always, always much, much better. Yeah, this was a crazy one, and it was actually, they made a second one, which was Daywatch, and that's not one I've ever seen. I only saw this once and had some really interesting ideas with it. It's a little bit convoluted, it's a bit all over the place, but there's plenty going on to keep you interested. There's some action, there's some good horror scenes. Yeah, the scene where they go into an old abandoned house or factory or something like that, that was very well done, using mirrors and reflection. And yeah, there's some scary stuff in this. And another one that I've not seen for a long time is Guillermo del Toro's Kronos. Here we have. So I'm sorry, I'm not even going to talk about this one because I really can't remember it. It's one that I should pick up and put back in, I mean the Pan's Labyrinth and Devil's Backbone. They're two films that I love very much. Watch those two a lot, and I suppose it's when I pick up this set, Kronos is the one that always gets dropped back. I remember watching it, it had a very big feeling of who's the director? How did I forget Dario Argento? Yeah, it has a look and feel of Dario Argento to me. I don't know about the look, it's just something about it that reminds me of Dario Argento from the one time that I watched it. I will get back to that soon. And here we have Blade. So the late 90s horror action movie, Blade. Fast, funky, fun, fantastic. Jesus. Yeah, it's yeah, I remember the soundtrack. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it actually the film and the soundtrack suited each other really well. It's quite an action-packed look at the vampires. Yeah, yeah, it was an interesting film. Again, it's not one I've seen for a while. I do apologise. It's yeah, I won't talk too much about it, but I quite like Stephen Dorff in it. I like Stephen Dorff. I like him more than I should because he's never in anything really good. And the final film, 30 Days of Night. Again, blood in snow. Looks great. So this one is set in Northern America. Yeah. And Alaska. Yeah, Northern America. Yeah, it's set in Alaska, I think. Directed by David Slade. I'm pretty sure that guy actually went on to do some other vampire films very, very shitty teenage girl vampire films. But this is great. The vampires in this, yeah, I love what he did with them. He kind of did this throat sound where they kind of scream and howl, but it's very effective. And these are blood-sucking bastards. Yeah, yeah. It's basically so they go to Alaska, where they have this 30 days of night. I don't know if that's true. I know it's very, very. They have very, very dark periods. It's like here in Finland, up in Lapland, they have very, very dark periods where it's like you look at the sunrise, and there's a period of time where you don't have a time, you have a date. So they do have days where it's just nighttime. But anyway, yeah, so you have these vampires that turn up in a boat, and they basically look to wipe out the town. And I think that that's what they need to do, so that no one knows that they are there, so that they carry on going around the world, obviously, somehow. When no one hears about them and no one talks about them, obviously people just turn up and like, shit me, what's happened there? Everyone's dead. But it's a good film. I found it entertaining. Melissa George, she does a good job in this. She's getting into quite a lot of horror films. I think I first picked up on her in Dark City, and she's been in quite a few since. Triangle and Lost Paradise. In this, yeah, she's really good in the horror genre. And Josh Hartnett, he actually does quite a good job in this. Yeah, and the main vampire, I think it's Danny Houston. He does a great job in this. Yeah. He's evil. Yeah, comes across evil. And you have Ben Foster is in this. Is like the I can't remember what they're called. When they have the vampires, they bite someone and half turn them into a vampire, so they're kind of their subjects and they're their skivvies, and they run around and do their jobs for them. That's what Ben Davis does. So he's the first one to get over to the town, and he destroys all their form of communication, all their mobile phones, so they can't get in contact with anyone. He's really good in this. He's a very good character actor, and he really gets into his parts, and it's just a shame that he's been in some real bad films, because he's an actor that I like quite a lot. Now that's everything I have for now. I actually have Near Dark, and I have The Thirst, which is I believe the South Korean vampire film. They're on their way here. I've seen a lot more vampire films, but I just wanted to briefly talk about the ones that I own. Yeah, so I could actually show them. And then it links to my my video collection, my DVD and Blu-ray collection. But anyway, that's it. I hope I haven't bored you all too much, and I'm sorry I was a bit flaky on some of those films. I just really can't remember them. I probably should have maybe done a little bit of prep with this video, but I wanted it to be natural. And well, thanks very much, and let's see if I make a third one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Cheers guys, peace out.